Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel and thank you so much for tuning in. Before we go anywhere, I just want to take this moment to thank you all for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it and I hope that you guys will have a great time here. Oh yeah. Okay, so in today's video, I will be giving you guys an update on what has been happening in my life, why I've been away for a long time. And I feel like it's very important to balance things out, not to only talk about the good things or when things are running smooth and butter, because we know that life is not linear. Things are not always going well, things are not always going according to plan. There are times when we feel down and low, there are times when we feel like we're not making enough progress, that's the reality of life. It's not always smooth, it's not a walk in the park, and I feel like it's always good to be authentic and be real about our experiences, because sometimes when we go through things, we think we're the only ones who go through them, but it's only once we start opening up that you realize that I'm actually not the only one, and we can actually draw strength from other people's experiences as well. That's why I really love sharing experiences, my experiences, hoping that someone may learn a thing or two from my experiences, and at the same time I also love learning from other people's stories and experiences. So yeah, for those who may not know, I am currently in Germany and I am doing an exchange program. So I'm a PhD student from the University of Cape Town in South Africa, and part of my degree is also to spend some time here in Germany for a year. So I'll be here for 1 year and I'm basically continuing with my research. It's not a new project or anything like that, it's just a continuation of my project, and I'm also learning a lot from people this side, because there's so many skills that one can learn. So I'm using this time to gain more skills from people who are experts in this field. So I came here last year at the beginning of December, and when I came here I had my plans, I had my goals, my objectives, that okay, by the end of the year, by the end of my exchange program, this is what I want to have achieved. These are my goals. And of course, I also submitted my objectives to my funders to say, yay, these are my plans. So at the end of the year, I would have achieved 1, 2, and 3. Because people who give you money also need to know, what are you doing with the money that we give you? So you need to account, like, what have you been up to? Have you just been traveling and seeing the world and not doing the work? They want to know. So yeah, that's basically that. But now it's June, hey? It's June. We are right in the middle of the year, and you look at the objectives that you had set for yourself at the beginning of the year, and you look at the progress that you've made so far, and you realize, oh damn, I am not where I thought I would be. And as you think about that, you start feeling down, because you realize that you haven't made as much progress as you would have loved to, Not only that, but in my case, so I'm doing a PhD in molecular biology, meaning that I spend most of my time in the lab doing experiments. And if you've done any lab work, or if you have an idea of what doing experiments in the lab entails, you will understand that it's not a straightforward process. Yes, you can have a protocol which clearly outlines every step, like, okay, in order for you to get to point E, obviously you need to start from point A, so everything is outlined step by step. But they say it's always easy on paper, but the reality, you will be surprised. It will show you flames. So you can spend months and months and even years in the lab trying to conduct experiments and not getting the results that you want. So in most cases, it works in a chain-like fashion where one experiment depends on the other. So in order for you to move to this experiment, you first need to complete this one. And if you're struggling with this one, it means there is no way in which you will get to the other one, the last one, right? So they are connected. And I spent most of my time here trying to optimize protocols after protocols, and things were not working. And obviously I was stressed. But when am I gonna get to point E? And then eventually I did manage to make some progress and I moved a bit to the next step. But there are also challenges. It's not like after conquering the problems or overcoming the problems that you encountered in the first step, everything will be smooth afterwards. Nope. Each step has its own challenges. So, okay, let me try to cut the long story short, né? Otherwise this video will be too long. Yeah, so long story short, I was able to make some progress in step A and I moved to the next step, the subsequent steps. Cool. But now I also encountered some problems. So here's what happened. Last month in May, after spending approximately 5 to 6 months working on this aspect of my project, trying to produce samples that will be sent to China for sequencing, we're finally able to produce the samples that we wanted to produce. So yay, we got this, let's do this, excitement, cool. And then we sent the samples. Within 2 weeks, we received feedback from the guys from the company, and they basically told us that the quality of the samples was not good. Yeah, and I remember when I read that email, my heart sank. You guys, I didn't know whether I should cry, whether I should scream, whether I should sleep. I honestly didn't know how to react. It was just too much. And the worst part, is that we couldn't go ahead with the sequencing process because it was going to cost us a lot of money, especially because the quality was already not good. So chances are if they continued with the sequencing, we're not going to get the results that we're hoping to get. So my boss, my supervisor was like, we don't want to waste money, because apparently that process of sequencing is very expensive. So she was like, we're not going to waste money. So the best way to move forward is to go back to the lab, do more extractions, produce samples from scratch. Yeah. And I felt like dying. I was defeated. I was feeling down and I didn't know what to do. Honestly, I think I spent a couple of days just doing nothing. I think I cried. And I also prayed. I was like, God, for the why? Why is this happening? I need to finish. And yeah, so after mourning and wallowing, I eventually picked myself up and continued, because you can't cry forever, right? At some point you have to pick yourself up and continue with the journey. Yeah, that's what ought to be done, right? Yeah, so basically that's what has been happening. I've experienced a couple of setbacks and I feel like I haven't made enough progress, and that also gives me a little bit of anxiety because I need to accomplish the goals that I've set for myself and account to the funders to say, listen, with the money that you gave me, this is what I've been able to accomplish. And apart from that, I've also been busy with presentations and yeah, just doing a lot of data analysis, which is also very challenging because, like I said, I'm learning new skills. For example, programming. Like, I've never done any programming before, and now I have to learn how to program because it's gonna help me with my data analysis. So it's been hectic. That's why I haven't been able to record, and yeah, I apologize for that, but yeah, it's been rough, guys.
It's been rough, guys.
I believe I'm not the only one going through this. I think it happens to a lot of people, especially around this time. Halfway through the year, you look back at what you have done, you look at what you had planned, and you try to assess the progress and see where you are. And the realization that you haven't made as much progress as you would have loved to can be very depressing. That's the honest truth. It can be that a project at work, a project that you are managing, a project that you are responsible for is not yielding the results that you are anticipating. Things are not coming together and you end up feeling frustrated. Or maybe you are a student and things are just overwhelming. You have a lot of work and you feel like you're drowning, you cannot manage, and you have written your exams and you see your results, you're like, oh my god, it's rough, you know. It can be personal issues, like there's a whole lot of things that we go through in life and we feel like it's just not happening, you know. Things are not going well, things are not coming together, the puzzles are not joining well together. So it's a reality, and yeah, keep up, guys. It's life. We fall, we get up, we move on. That's the drill, that's the way it is. So right now I want to share with you some of the things that I've been doing to keep sane, because sanity is important. One of the things that I've been doing religiously is working out, particularly running. I've been doing a lot of running, and sometimes I was not even doing it for fitness purposes, but I was just doing it for my mental health. I think there's just something about being outdoors. You don't have to do much, but just breathing in fresh air is just so refreshing. And the nice thing about being here in Potsdam is that Potsdam is very beautiful. Guys, it's green, it's beautiful. There are beautiful running routes. Like, even in times when I don't feel like waking up and hitting the road, I just think about that beautiful route full of trees and, you know, the peacefulness, the tranquility. And listen, I would just jump and tie my shoelaces and hit the road, and it's always great, it's always fulfilling, it's always a bliss. And every time when I come back feeling refreshed and energized. So working out has been doing wonders, and I know different things work for different people, as I always say. So you don't have to do running if it's not your thing, but do something that will recharge, that will help you to recharge, that will help you to re-energize, so that you stay sane as unbelieved and take full advantage of them, the feel-good hormones, the chemicals, the endorphins that are produced by your body. Okay, another thing that I've been doing a lot is reading. Yes, so sometimes when I feel like, oh my goodness, this research thing is too much, I just switch off my laptop and I just focus on reading something that is not related to my research project. something that has nothing to do with my work, and just focus on that thing and get motivated and inspired. So it has been helping me a lot. And one other thing that has been of great help has been keeping in touch with my people, my family, my friends from back home, and the friends that I've made this side as well, going out with people and just forgetting about my problems. It helps a lot. And also talking to people who are in the same boat, fellow PhD candidates, people who are doing research, to just talk about, sometimes you just need to vent. Sometimes you just need to talk about your problems. Not that you are seeking for any advice, no, just want to talk to someone who can relate. And that has been helping me a lot, like having a chat with a fellow PhD friend and also listening to their stories as well. And going back to what I said earlier on, that sometimes we think we are the only ones who are going through tough times, but it's only once we start opening up and we realize that actually I'm not the only one. There are other people who are also going through the same things, and some people are even going through the worst, they're going through the most, and you realize, yo, I thought my situation was bad, but actually it's not that bad. So it really helps to have that community of people where you can just talk about life, man. A safe space, have that safe space where you can freely talk about the challenges that you're experiencing and just encourage one another. It really, really helps. I'm realizing the importance of having a community of people. It plays a significant role in your mental health as a person. So I think that's all I basically wanted to share with you guys, that I've been away, not because I wanted to, but because life happened, as it always does, you know what I mean? Yeah, so things just got very hectic. And one thing that I always try to remind myself constantly is the fact that, like, even when I pray, it's very easy to ask God, why am I going through this? It's very easy to ask that question. But then I often try to remind myself that, you know what, this is part of the journey. This is part of the process. I may not understand right now why things are happening the way they are, but I believe there's a reason as to why I have to encounter so many challenges in my PhD journey, and one day I will get to understand as to why all of this happened. So yeah, so if you are also going through a tough time, if you are also going through a rocky path, listen, you are not alone. And remember that this is part of the process, this is part of the journey, and it's also part of our story. It also forms part of our story. So one day we'll be able to look back and our hearts will be filled with gratitude for the things that we had to go through, for the things that we had to overcome to be where we will be at that time, when that time comes, when we finally reach the finish line. And yeah, of course, sometimes it's very hard. I don't want to lie, it's very hard, but it's something that we need to constantly remind ourselves to say, it's part of the journey, and we need to learn to embrace it, because naturally it's not easy. We are very quick to complain. Alrighty guys, this video is already very long, so I'm gonna stop it here. And yeah, just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also share your coping mechanisms in the comment section below. What do you do in times when you feel like life is becoming too much? What do you do? I know that people do different things to stay afloat, and I've shared with you some of the things that I do. please feel free to share what you do to keep sane. Alrighty, thank you so much, ladies and gents. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also I'll click that notification bell so that you know every time when I upload a new video. Yeah, cool. Until next time,